The roper towers there in the background.
We salute you, boss.
Roper! Okay, right now I got the sheet. You can see what I'm getting there.
Background. Oh yeah, it looks great.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm gonna
go
do
ahead.
The opening line, and you're gonna do it. I'm gonna interrupt.
No, don't interrupt me.
You guys have been together.
This is like
get off my lawn, right?
Get off my lawn! All right. Are we rolling, Jimmy? So we are here in front of Alcatraz, and we have the great Bob Roper to thank for that. It was what, 15 years ago when he threw the gauntlet down in the sauna and said we had to do it. It had to be done. We had to do 1,000, and he didn't let us off the hook. For 10 years, he rallied us. He took us out, probably 600-700 Alcatraz crossings, and the only payment he really wanted out of it was the fun and a case of avocados once a month.
So how many avocados do you think you gave him over the years?
A pallet.
How many are in a pallet?
About 1,000. I think he hoarded them. I think he had them in his closet right along with the chocolate bars and the mangoes that we gave. But I do want to say one thing about Bobby that means a lot to me. He was a great friend, a mentor, a coach to us, and he had this special way of making all of us feel like we were on the A team, even though we really were more like B, C, or D team members of him. And he just meant a lot to me and our friends, and he was a part of our lives for a long time. And the day doesn't go by where I don't think about him and thank him and appreciate everything he stood for.
And as Steve said, you know, Bobby was just so very, very generous and supportive, and he helped a lot of people achieve their goals, and giving of himself as pilot, as sage, as an expert on tides, even though there was always that associated cost of produce. You had a never-ending tithing of avocados.
And cases of mangoes.
I think part of this generosity simply was to help us, but part of it was he just loved being out on the water and using us as science experiments. And for these reasons, he'll always have a very special place in our hearts. But there also is a very equally dark, vindictive side of Bobby. And at the south end, you were absolutely nobody until you made it onto the Roper Invisible list. June 1st, 2001, Christine Buckley, Grandpa Drew Downs, Stephen Hurwitz, Dan Needham, and I, we're sitting in the day room discussing the route for this morning's Alcatraz swim with Crazy Daryl aboard the Serendipity. Vessel traffic's Channel 14 is abuzz with chatter on how bad the visibility is. But with Daryl agreeing to be our eyes via GPS, and with no inbound vessel traffic, we set out from Coghlan to Alcatraz just as Bobby and the Sunrisers zipped by to do a Shoreline St. Francis Alcatraz yacht club. And visibility is so bad we don't even see Alcatraz until 5 minutes before we get there. But we make it unscathed. When we get back to the club, Roper is furious. He's spitting at least 10 to 12 times a minute. He collectively and individually chews our asses up one side and then down the next. We are now official members of the Roper Invisible list. Several days later, I very vividly remember sitting in the sauna after a swim. Bobby's in there sitting directly across from me, laughing and joking and being sociable. Life is grand. But I'm not there. I don't exist. I have disappeared from reality. I even look down at my hands and legs to make sure I'm still in the sauna. But to Roper, there is no Gary Emich. Of course, the five of us all feel really badly because we did use poor judgment in going out on such a foggy day. But nothing we say or do changes anything. If he thinks we are approaching to say something, he turns and walks away. Or he just walks right by without acknowledging our presence. One day I finally cage him in the bathroom as he's shaving. With proverbial swim cap in hand, I own up to my poor judgment and unforgivable mistake and tell him I fully understand if he never wants to talk with me again. But I do need to tell him how truly sorry I am. To my great surprise, he turns to face me, looks me in the eye, accepts my apology, shakes my hand, and then in no uncertain terms tells me never to ever do such a fucking stupid thing like that again. On that day, I'm removed from the Roper Invisible list. Miss you and love you, Bobby.
Well, I gotta say, Gary, that was well put, but one thing you missed.
What's that?
Was Roper went out on that day on his own swim.
But he was doing a shoreline where he could see the shoreline alongside.
It doesn't matter. But since we're all asses, Roper would want me to crown you.
What is all this stuff?
Okay, I'm cutting.
All right.
Tide master.
If I fall overboard, I'm going straight to the bottom.
Exactly. I gotta get a few on.
You're gonna knock my glasses off. No, no,
No.
more.